Hello my dear students. Today this is my second lecture on chapter number 7, that is structural organization in animals. In my last lecture we have started with first point, that is animal tissue. Animal tissues are broadly classified into 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular and neural. So we have already completed epithelial tissue. So in today's class we'll start with connective tissue. Connective tissue. So they are named as connective tissues because of their special characteristics, and that is it links and supports other tissues and organs. Means it connects the different types of tissues or different types of organs. So they are called as connective tissues, and these are most abundant in complex animals. Clear? In all the connective tissues except the blood is also the main important connective tissue. So except this blood, all other connective tissues, they have the cells are present, and these cells secretes collagen or elastin. Cells are called as fibroblast, and these fibroblast cells, they secrete some fibrous proteins such as collagen or elastin, and these fibers, they provide strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissue. Clear? So connective tissue, they are consisting of the cells, and these cells secrete some proteins, and these cells fibers, they provide strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissues. Then the cells also secrete some modified polysaccharides which accumulate between the cells and fibers and act as the matrix. These connective tissues are classified into 3 types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. So first we'll start with loose connective tissue. So as the name indicates, loose means they are loosely arranged. Okay, so here loose connective tissue, they has cells. Different types of cells are there: fibroblast, macrophages, mast cells, etc. So the cells are present, and fibers. So cells and fibers are there, and these cells and fibers are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground substance. Clear? A ground substance is there, and in that the cells and fibers are loosely arranged. Clear? So in this diagram you can see it includes again 2 types: areolar tissue and adipose tissue. So in this diagram you can see it is a areolar tissue. So different types of cells I told. So here you can see the yellow color one. So that is the fibroblast, which secretes the fibrous protein collagen. Clear? Then the macrophage, the red color upper one, you can see macrophages are there. Then below one, purple color, that is the mast cells. So like these different types of cells are there. And fibers. In this diagram you can see red color thread like structure is moving here and there. So those are the fibers. So you can see cells and fibers, they are arranged very loosely. So it is a loose connective tissue, that is areolar tissue. So where it is present? It is present beneath the skin. Skin is the outer layer. So next to that, beneath the this areolar tissue is present. Clear? It serves as a support framework for epithelium. Epithelium, it is the outer layer. So it serves as framework and it supports the epithelium. Clear? So this is first one, areolar tissue. Next, second, adipose tissue. So here it is located mainly beneath the skin, and here the cells of this tissue, they stores fats. So these cells are called as adipocytes because they store the fat. So excess of nutrients, whatever excess of nutrients we will take, it will get converted into the fats, and then when it is not used, it will get stored in this tissue. Which tissue? That is adipose tissue. So only the cholesterol or the fat, it will get increased near the skin region. So extra nutrients are converted into fats and they are stored in the this adipose tissue. So these cells are called as adipocytes. So here you can see in the diagram the fat storage area, the bigger one. So there the fat is stored. So that is adipose tissue. So these names and their functions are important one. Next, the second type, that is dense connective tissue. As the name indicates, the fibers and fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are nothing but the different types of cells. The fibers and fibroblasts are compactly arranged. So it is called as dense connective tissue, and it is of two types: dense regular connective tissues and dense irregular connective tissues. In the dense regular connective tissues, here you can see in the diagram, it shows regular pattern of fibers. In this diagram, you can see the collagen fiber, the thread-like structures. Those are collagen fibers. These are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. So parallelly in rows they are present. A fixed regular pattern is there. So it is called as dense regular connective tissue. In that, the example, the tendons and ligaments. So what are tendons and what are ligaments? These are important for 1 mark questions. So both these are dense regular connective tissues. Tendons means what? It attach skeletal muscles to bones. In the diagram you can see the skeletal muscles to the bones. Inner one, the bone is there, and to that bone the skeletal muscles. These are attached. Those are called as the tendon. And ligaments. Ligaments, they attach one bone to another bone. Ligament. So one bone to another bone. At the last you can see one bone to the another bone. So in this diagram you can see it is the ligament. One bone to the another bone, it is attached. In previous diagram you can see the tendon where that red color muscle is attached to the bone. So skeletal muscles to the bones, and ligaments, it attaches one bone to the another bone. Then dense irregular connective tissues. So here the irregular pattern of fibroblasts and fibers. In the diagram you can see the difference. There it was in regular pattern. The rows are arranged parallel to each other in regular pattern. But here the fibroblast and fibers, cells and the fibers, these are irregularly arranged. So it is called as dense irregular connective tissue, and this tissue is present in the skin. Now the third type, that is specialized connective tissues. So specialized connective tissues, here it comes, that is the cartilage, bone and blood. So in that first, that is the cartilage. In this, the intercellular material is solid and pliable and resists the compression. In the cartilage cell, whatever the intercellular material is there, that material is solid and pliable. Pliable means it can bend and it resists the compression. For example, cartilage tissues, where these are present, I will give the example. Wait, these are present in the ear. Cartilage means soft bones are there. Ear, if you hold your ear pinna and fold it, it will get fold, and again it will come back to the normal position. So it resists the compression. So soft bones are present in the nose or the ear pinna, like that, soft bones it is. So that is cartilage. So the intercellular material is solid and pliable and resists the compression. So the cells of the cartilage are called as the chondrocytes. So these chondrocytes, they secrete a matrix and it forms a cavity surrounding them. So in this diagram you can see the chondrocyte cells are there and they only secrete the matrix and they forms a small cavity around them. Clear? The most of the cartilages in the vertebrate embryos are replaced by the bones in adults. In most of the vertebrates, when they are in the larval stage, the vertebrate embryo is made up of cartilage tissue, but when they become the adult, it is replaced by the bones. So here you can see the cartilage is present in the tip of nose, outer ear, joints between the bones of vertebral column and limbs. So that is the cartilage, the soft bone will be there. Next specialized tissue is bones, the actual hard bones. So here they have a hard and non-pliable. Can you see our bone is bendable? If you take the hand bone, okay, is it bend and again come back to normal position? No, because it is hard and non-pliable ground substance, and these bones are rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers, and these gives bones its strength. So strength it is provided by the calcium salts and the collagen fibers. Then the cells of bones are called as osteocytes. In this diagram you can see the bone cells, those are called as osteocytes. So where these are present? They are present in the spaces called lacunae. Lacunae means a cavity will be there, and in that lacunae these bone cells are present. Clearly you can see in the diagram. Then what are the functions of these bones? It provides structural frame to the body. Bones, they form our skeleton of our body, structural framework to the body. Then they support and protect softer tissues and organs. Okay. Then limb bones, for example the leg bones, they serve weight bearing function. So our whole body weight, it is lifted by whom? That is the limb bones or the leg bones. Next function, it take part in locomotion and movements. We move from one place to another place with the help of these bones only, locomotion. Then the blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Inside the bone, you must have been heard bone marrow is present. So this bone marrow, it produces the blood cells like RBCs. Okay, so these RBCs are produced in the bones, bone marrow. So these are the main important functions of the bones. And the last specialized connective tissue is blood. Blood, it is a fluid connective tissue. It is a liquid, fluid connective tissue containing, main component is the plasma, and the blood cells are there like RBCs, that is red blood cells, WBCs, that is white blood cells, and platelets. So plasma and three types of blood cells, RBC, WBC and platelets. Clear? It helps in the circulation of various substances. So blood, what's its function? It helps in circulation of various substances, like it may be the gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, or the nutrients, that is digestive products. So in the transport of that, the blood is helping. So these are three types of the specialized connective tissues, that is cartilage, bone and blood. And this finishes the connective tissue. Which are the three main types of connective tissue? Loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissues. So already we have finished epithelial tissue and now connective tissue also. Now we will move on to the muscle tissue. So what are the characteristics of this muscle tissue? Each muscle is made up of muscle fibers. Many muscle fibers are there, and each muscle fiber is composed of numerous myofibrils. Means what? Myofibrils comes together to form the muscle fiber. Muscle fibers comes together to form the muscle. Clear? Then the muscle fibers can contract, means they can become shorten, and relax, they will become lengthen. So contract and relax, that is the ability of the muscle fibers. Then muscles take part in locomotion and movement. So that is their function. Muscles are of three types. Which are those? Skeletal muscles, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle, it is also called as striated muscle, stripped muscle or voluntary muscle. And smooth muscles, these are also called as non-striated or visceral or involuntary muscles. So what are these and what are their characteristics? Now we will study. So first, skeletal muscle. So here why it is called as skeletal muscle means they are attached to skeletal bones. So they are called as skeletal muscles. For example, the biceps. In the next picture, you can see the biceps. So here, you can see in this picture, the striations are present, the light band and dark band. You can see the line-like structure, that is striations are present. Striations are present, so these are called as striated muscles or stripped muscles. Clear? Next characteristic, muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. So here you can see the 4 bundles are there, and these are parallelly arranged, parallel to each other. So like this, many bundles, muscle bundles will be there, and they are covered by the tough connective tissue. Clear? So that is the skeletal muscle. Here you can see in this picture, these are the biceps. So these are the skeletal muscles. So these are muscle fibers and these are attached to the skeletal bone. So these are called as the skeletal muscles. And these skeletal muscles are also called as voluntary muscles. Voluntary means what? These are under our control. We can move them when we want. For example, we can move our hand whenever we want. We move our leg, we move our neck. So voluntary means they are under our control. So these are called as voluntary muscles. Next, smooth muscles. These are also called as non-striated or visceral or involuntary muscles. So involuntary means what? They are not under our control. We cannot control their movement. Clear? And these are fusiform fibers. Means what? Fusiform means tapering at both the ends. Both the ends are narrow, tapering, you can see in the diagram. So smooth muscles. And no striations are there. Can you see here lining striations, dark band, light band? No, it is absent. So these are called as non-striated muscles. And it is called as visceral. Visceral means what? Where these are present. So they are seen in the wall of internal organs. So internal organs are called as visceral organs. So in these organs, such as the blood vessels, the stomach, the intestine, there these muscles are present. So these are called as visceral muscles because they are present in the visceral organs like blood vessels, stomach and intestine. And can you control the movement of stomach, intestine, blood vessel? No. So these are involuntary. Clear? Then the cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. So both the ends are tapering and they are held together by the connective tissue. And their nucleus is present in the center. Single nucleus is present in the center. So this is about the smooth muscles. Now the third one, that is the cardiac muscles. So these cardiac muscles are involuntary muscles. As you know, involuntary means we cannot control the movement of these muscles. So involuntary muscles, and these are seen only in the heart. So heart muscles are cardiac muscles. Can you control the movement of your heart? No. So these are involuntary muscles. What are the characteristics now? The cell junctions fuse the plasma membrane of the cells and make them stick together. So here you can see the cell junctions are there. The plasma membranes are fusing together. Why? To make the two bundles to remain together, to stick together. Clear? Then the communication junctions are present. Those are called as intercalated discs. Junction between the adjacent cells in the diagram. So that is the intercalated disc. It allows the cells to contract as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighboring cells are also contracted. Means in this diagram you can see here it is written junction between the adjacent cell. So below that is one cell and above that is another cell. So it is the connection between these two cells. Suppose the below cell, it has got the signal, that is the heart muscle has to contract now. So that signal is passed from this cell to the upper cell. through that junction, and that junction is called as the intercalated disc. So when that message is passed from that junction to the another cell, then after receiving the message, both the cells together they will contract. So like this, for transmitting the messages, the cells should be in contact with each other, and who is connecting them? That is the intercalated disc. Clear? So that is the structure of the cardiac muscle. So these are the three types of muscle tissue. That is, which are those? First one we have studied skeletal muscle, second smooth muscle, and third cardiac muscle. So this finishes the muscle tissue. And the last one now we'll study, that is the neural tissue. So neural tissue, it is for control and coordination. So controlling and coordinating all our body movements or body function, it is under the neural tissue. So neuron, it is the unit of neural tissue, and it is a excitable cell. Neuron is a unit of neural system. So what is the structure of this neural tissue or the nerve fiber? All that we are going to study in detail in the human physiology. So here, just to remember, neural tissue, it is a control and coordinating structure, and neuron, it is the unit of nervous system. Clear? So this finishes the neural tissue. So we have studied animal tissues, epithelial tissue is completed, connective tissue is completed, then muscle tissue is completed, and neural tissue. Understood, dear students? So dear students, you should know how the organism is formed. So organ and organ systems. What has been told here? You know that cell, it is the basic unit of any living organism. A single cell. Then similar cells will come together, then they form the tissues. Then many tissues come together and they form the organs. And many organs, they come together and they form the organ system. For example, organs. Stomach is there, intestine is there, liver is there, pancreas is there. All these are the organs. So when they come together, they forms the digestive system. That is called as organ system. And like this, many systems will come together: digestive system, respiratory system, reproductive system, circulatory system, and all these systems come together and they forms the organism. Clear? So this helps in better coordinated cellular activities. Here in the last point it is told that each organ is made up of one or more type of tissues. For example, heart consists of epithelial tissue is there, connective tissue is also there, muscular tissue is also there, and neural tissue is also there. So all these different types of tissues come together and they have formed the heart. Clear? Organ is formed. Then heart is there, blood vessels are there. All these together they forms the circulatory system. Clear? So like this, any living organism, the basic unit is cell, from the cell, tissue, from tissue, organs, from organs, organ system, and many organ systems to organism. Clear? So this is all for today's lecture. In our next lecture, we'll be starting with the morphology and anatomy. So what is morphology? It is the study of external features of an organism. And what is anatomy? It is the study of internal organs of an animal. So that we are going to study. So as you know, in our syllabus we have morphology of earthworm and morphology of, yes, frog. Clear? Cockroach, it has been deleted from your portion. So from next lecture we'll start with the morphology and anatomy. Thank you, dear students. So we'll meet in the next lecture. Till then, take care and have a good day.